Grab your bag. It's on.
The lights are on and we're on. For Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, the Cubs are 2-4 on this 8-game homestand, which will end tomorrow night. Thought the Rockies might bring the rainy weather. It's overcast. They had 3 rainouts at home last week. But I think we're going to be able to dodge the wet stuff.
You mentioned that wind blowing straight in, Len, and with 2 sinker ballers on the mound, it figures to be one of those nights where you're going to have to scratch and scrape for every run you get.
Well, this Rockies Southwest starting lineup will try to scrape for some runs. Carlos Gonzalez in center, leading it off. Seth Smith is in left. Brad Hopp in right. Troy Tulowitzki cleans up. Todd Helton now a 5-hitter. Usually we see him in the 3 or the 4 spot. Miguel Olivo red hot. 3 homers over his last 4 games. Ian Stewart at third. Clint Barmas at second. And Aaron Cook off to a good start at the dish, hitting .308.
And let's take a look at the Cubs defensively, brought to you by Jimmy John's. Alfonso Soriano in left, Tyler Colvin in center, Kosuke Fukudome in right field. Aramis Ramirez and Starlin Castro will be on the left side of the infield, while Mike Fondo and Derek Lee will man the right side. Coy Hill getting a rare start behind the plate tonight for right-hander Randy Wells. Randy Wells, one with the knock socks, trying to change his luck out there on the mound a little bit. You see his numbers on the season. By his own evaluation, he has not pitched as well as he would like to, but he's pitched well enough to win more games than 3, that's for sure.
Jim Wolf will call the balls and strikes. The crew chief is a man at third, Darrell Cousins. Wind blowing straight in. It looks like it's blowing pretty hard. So the right-hander Wells deals a called strike on a fastball at the knees to Carlos Gonzalez. And away we go. Gonzalez with a career-best 10-game hitting streak. Bob mentioned a little bit of a struggle for Randy. He has dropped his last 2 starts. On a season-high 8 innings his last time out in a 3-2 loss. Change-up, swing and a miss, 1-2. Might be a big pitch for him, especially early. The first 3 hitters for the Rockies all from the left side of the plate.
And the guy at the plate is not real selective. Only 4 walks all year. He will chase, as he does there on a change-up, out of the zone, low and away. Good start for Randy Wells. You always want to establish the fact that you will throw strikes with your fastball, and you can nibble at the corners with your off-speed stuff, and he does that immediately against Carlos Gonzalez. Good changeup.
Here's Seth Smith, one of the premier pinch hitters in all of baseball, but he's in the starting lineup.
Yeah, Seth Smith and Ryan Spielborg's kind of 2 sides to a coin out there in left field, and both used as a pinch hitter frequently when not in the starting lineup. Smith and Spielborg's both with 10 pinch hit at bats already this year.
Smith getting his 19th start of the year in left. Rockies have won 3 in a row. They're looking for their first 4-game winning streak of the year. The Cubs avoided a sweep by beating the Pirates yesterday, as former Cub Jim Tracy looks on. Since he took over last year, the Rockies have gone 93-60. Jim, one of the great guys in the game of baseball, and he was the manager of the year in the National League last year, even though he didn't manage a full season. And that is snagged by Derek Lee. So that'll be an L3, not a 3-1. He did catch it. 2 down. .53, but depending on where you are, it feels colder than that. Like in our broadcast booth.
Yeah, the weather they've had in Denver in the early going this season, if it ever got up to 53 degrees, you'd play a doubleheader and have a field trip to the pool after the game. They've had miserable weather in Colorado in the early going this season. This probably feels comfortable to them.
Now Brad Hopp, college teammate of Mike Fontenot and Ryan Terrio at LSU.
I'm guessing he's a big Ron Santo fan. Just a guess.
1-1. You're mean.
No, he's got his Cub stuff on. You know.
Oh, right.
And Ronnie's got his Cub stuff on tonight. See, that's a similarity.
High fly ball. Colvin and Soriano getting together. And it'll be Soriano to make the catch. Bottom 1. Rockies fail to score.
Got a little hairy.
When the Cubs get to 4 runs, they're 15-5. Fukudome, Castro, Lee at the top. Ramirez, Colvin, Soriano in the middle, Fontenot, Hill, and Wells at the bottom.
Quick look at the Rockies defensively, brought to you by Jimmy John, Seth Smith, Carlos Gonzalez, and Brad Hopp across the outfield. Ian Stewart at third, Troy Tulowitzki at short, Clint Barmas over at second, the veteran Todd Helton at first base, Miguel Olivo having a great season at the plate and behind the plate. Will be doing the catching for right-hander Aaron Cook.
He likes early contact. You see the strikeouts and walks. That's not a good ratio, but he wants ground balls. And then he'll let his defense do the rest.
His defense has been pretty good this year. Only 23 errors this season. Troy Tulowitzki, the shortstop, the guy that handles most of the balls put into play, only 2 errors all year.
4th road start. For Cook, he's 0-3 on the road with an 8.84 earned run average. Actually 4 starts, 1 no decision, and 3 losses. 3-2 on Fukudome with Starlin Castro on deck. All-time Rockies leader in wins, dating back to 1993. That'll be a fair ball. And Kosuke with a leadoff 2-base hit. It'd be nice to break the trend of getting behind early.
You see that sinker ball grip on the part of Aaron Cook there. Kosuke with a nice piece of hitting, stayed right on that ball, just lined it over the head of Ian Stewart down into that left field corner for a leadoff double. Good start. I mean, that's the approach that left-handers are going to have to take against Aaron Cook. He doesn't really throw a cut fastball or anything that works in on the hands of the left-handed hitters. The sinker moves away. You will throw an occasional slider, an occasional changeup, but that sinker working away from the lefties, got to take it the other way.
Castro in the 2-hole. He'll probably be back to 8 tomorrow night when Ryan Theriot returns to the lineup. He tried to bunt and foul tipped it into the mitt. 1 strike on the rookie. 0 for 4 yesterday, but he reached base on a key error by Ronnie Cedeno in the 7th. That set up Derek Lee's game-tying RBI single. Sinker strike, 0-2. Theriot available off the bench as a pinch hitter tonight, or a pinch runner, play defense, but ideally they'd like to give him one more day with the elbow inflammation. It's a left elbow. A good pick by Olivo. He went way out to get that one.
Cubs base runners are going to have to keep an eye on Miguel Olivo behind the plate. He's thrown out almost 60% of the runners attempting to steal on him this year. Nice scoop play of a ball way over in that left-handed batter's box. He loves to throw behind the runners at first, at second, at third.
Kick and the 1-2. A fly ball to left. Smith's coming over, and he gets there, and that'll keep Fukudome at second.
Looked like that ball had a chance to get down off the bat, but Smith made up a lot of ground in a hurry out there. He takes very short little steps going after fly balls in left field, but he takes a lot of them in a hurry. Got to that ball in good shape to make the play.
Here's Derek, who's hitting 6 straight, covering the homestand. The game-tying RBI hit yesterday. And he's hitting .300 over his last 15 games. Cook gets a sign from Olivo. And his pitch, a little low. I'm going to say that a lot tonight. You want to keep the ball down on a night like this. Wasn't down, but Derek apparently wasn't looking for it. 1-2.
When you face a sinker ball pitcher, an extreme sinker ball pitcher like Aaron Cook, you can either make a mental adjustment and tell yourself, I'm not going to swing at anything from the middle of the thighs down because it's probably going to be out of the strike zone or an easy ground ball if I do put it in play. Or you can make a mechanical adjustment. Some guys drop their hands a little bit against a sinker ball pitcher. Try to think about staying inside the baseball a little bit more. Think opposite field against the sinker. If you don't make any kind of a change, you're going to end up hitting a lot of ground balls to the left side of the infield as a right-handed hitter.
Well, that graphic really illustrates how much contact is made against Aaron Cook and how much of it is on the ground. Inside, it's full 3-2. Ramos Ramirez on deck. Fukudome led off the inning with a double. Castro then flying to left. Swing and the miss for out number 2.
That's one thing you usually don't see a lot of against Aaron Cook. Not a big-time strikeout pitcher, as you mentioned earlier, Lynn. He wants the batter to put that ball in play on the first or second pitch of an at-bat. Really not overpowering with any of his stuff. He just depends on early contact and good defense behind him, but that time snuck one by Derek Lee for strike 3.
Cook was an all-star 2 years ago. Was taken in the second round in 1997 out of Hamilton, Ohio. He is signed through next season with a club option for 2012. Ground ball, base hit. Kosuke will be sent and will score without a throw. It's 1-0. The second time in about 3 days Ramirez has come up in a 2-out RBI spot and has delivered.
And with 2 outs, Kosuke is going on contact. He got a good jump out there at second base, and no chance for Seth Smith out there in left field to even think about throwing home. Ramos Ramirez ambushes Aaron Cook with that base hit through the 5.5 hole on the left side of the infield.
Cook has given up 5 runs in 4 of his 7 starts, but had not allowed a run in the first inning prior to tonight. Tyler Colvin and Coy Hill both getting a start tonight for the first time in over a week. So it's Marlon Byrd getting the night off. 1-1.
Lefty's hitting .297 coming into play tonight against Aaron Cook. Righties only .259. This is pretty much standard operating procedure if you can do it with your lineup. Try to get as many lefties on Aaron Cook as possible.
Hard hit on the ground, but right to Barmes, who throws out Tyler Colvin. Leadoff double and then a 2-out RBI single, and the Cubs lead 1-0 after 1.
Actually drove that ball pretty deep to right field. Kosuke Fukudome made a nice tumbling catch in right field. That was a sure 2 runs for the Pirates if he doesn't come up with that ball.
That's a play of the game right there. Allowing the Cubs to come back late. Troy Tulowitzki takes a fastball for a strike from Randy Wells.
The thing we didn't show you on that play, and from our vantage point in the bleachers yesterday, we had a real good look at it. Kosuke was kind of creeping in toward the infield as Tulowitzki grounds one to Castro at shortstop. No problem, one down. Fukudome was creeping in so he could get himself in a position to back up a possible play depending on where the play was, and then the ball was hit over his head. He had to change directions quickly and made that great tumbling catch.
It's that kind of night. Bundle up. Todd Helton batting with one out, nobody on. No homers on the year. This is the longest drought he's had to start a season in his career. Still gets on base. He'll take a lot of walks.
32 hits on the season, or rather 28 hits on the season for Todd Helton. 4 doubles, no homers, no triples. The triples I can understand at this point in his career, but usually he's a doubles machine.
.327 for his career average, but he's never done well here at Wrigley Field. Cubs hope that continues. .235 in 40 career games.
513 doubles all time, putting him 42nd on the all-time list. There's a ringing single into center field. He just passed Mark Grace this season. Gracie with 511 in 43rd place.
Tickets are selling quickly, but there's still time to get great seats for May games. Bleacher seats are still available as well. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com, call 1-800-THE-CUBS, or visit the Wrigley Field box office. A rough night out on the lake tonight. It's big waves on this windy evening. Here's Miguel Olivo. Strike one. 9 for his last 14. He has 8 homers already. He caught Ubaldo Jimenez's no-hitter. What a season it's been. It wasn't even their opening day catcher. It was Chris Iannetta, but eventually Olivo grabbed the everyday job, and Iannetta got sent to the minors. And he has enjoyed hitting at Coors Field.
I guess. 300-point difference.
He waves at strike 2. A ball and 2 strikes.
22 attempted base stealers against Miguel Olivo this year. He's caught 13 of them. It's a ridiculous percentage. As I said, 59%.
Todd Helton with a very short lead at first as Olivo taps it foul. I was just thinking about it, Bob. You know, we were out in the bleachers yesterday. We should have waited until the Rockies came in, and you could have used your binoculars all night.
Yeah.
Binocular gate.
Yeah, they had some issues with that. Was that in Philly or in Denver?
It was in Denver last week. Nick Billmeyer, the bullpen coach for the Phillies, was using the binoculars. Wells to Castro, and the relay is late. That was a late developing play, and they only get one. Well, would you have reacted the way Jim Tracy did? He was pretty upset, and the Rockies caught the Phillies bullpen coach. They claimed that he was watching his own catcher set up. The problem was apparently they caught him when his team was batting, meaning Carlos Ruiz was not catching.
Well, to answer your initial question, you bet I would be upset. You would be amazed, especially at some ballparks around the league where there's been a reputation or a past history of possible sign stealing, maybe a fan or a representative of the organization sitting out in the center field bleachers relaying signs to the batter at home plate. You know, at this point, all rumors, but you still are very suspicious when you go into some of these cities. And a couple of the coaches, some of the players will watch very closely that area out there to the right and left of the batter's eye just to see if there's any unusual activity. And I guess a bullpen coach sitting out there with binoculars would be considered an unusual activity.
And we will say this, you're about 9,000 feet from home plate because of the spacious dimensions at Coors Field, but if you're in the bullpen, you probably Should not be using any sort of visual technology to aid your ability to see the signs.
At least not to look at the field.
1-2 on Ian Stewart, who is slugging almost 800 on the road. Six homers away from home for Stewart as he pops to left. This is Soriano for the third out. 1 out single, but no damage done. Cubs 1, Rockies nothing early.
Compliments of Fisher Nuts. Get your tickets today by calling 1-800-THE-CUBS or visiting Cubs.com.
We'll send out best wishes to a longtime Cubs fan, Eileen Bittenbinder. That's from Alex and Cody, who are here at the ballpark tonight. Soriano will lead off the Cubs second. Only Andre Ethier and Jason Worth have a higher on base plus slugging in the majors. Soriano at 1,012, which is excellent. Cook with a 1-0 pitch, just off the outside corner. 2-0 on the Cubs left fielder, Fontenot, and then Hill. And if anybody gets on, Randy Wells here in the second. And the liner is snagged by Barmas.
Perfect pre-pitch positioning for Clint Barmas. He was shaded up the middle of the field. Soriano made good solid contact, hit that line drive, unfortunately right at the Rockies second baseman.
Back-to-back starts at second for Mike Fontenot. All right, my disclaimer on this note is, Mike, please don't strike out. Because he hasn't struck out much this year, and we mentioned Cook is not a guy who's looking for punch-outs. So you would like to think Mike is going to make contact, and hopefully it's good contact. He has struck out just once every 11 and a half plate appearances. One of the leaders in the National League. And he flares that one in the left. Thank you, Mike. And he's going to try for 2. And he just got in. As we always say, that was a double right out of the batter's box. He was thinking 2 the minute he hit it.
That's the only way you can think about going for two on that ball, is if you run hard right out of the box, and Fontenot does that, slicing away from Seth Smith toward that left field line. He actually makes a really nice play for a left-handed thrower. And Barmas kind of with a blind tag. He had his back turned to the runner, Fontenot, coming into second base, and he's kind of spun around with the glove and tagged where he thought the base was, but Fontenot was in safely.
Mike, when he came up, went off the bag, but Barmas was not applying the tag at the time. Coy Hill thrown out by one of the best, Troy Tulowitzki. 2 down.
Tulowitzki, not the smoothest shortstop in baseball. He can occasionally look awkward going after balls, but he's got that amazing ability to control his body and make off-balance throws from the most unusual of angles, but he seems to always get it over there in time.
So it's up to the pitcher, Randy Wells. Ball 1. This is that 1 week we have every year. It's not my favorite in terms of the schedule, but everybody in baseball plays 3 series this week. 2, 2, and 3. We're going to spend about, 26 hours in Philadelphia on Wednesday and Thursday. I think they have this week now something that I don't think you ever had when you played, because of interleague play and trying to fit all the different opponents on the schedule.
I don't recall ever playing a 2-game series. Maybe we did, but I just don't remember. It's not even worth unpacking your bags in Philly. You get in there about 2:30 in the morning after the ball game tomorrow night, play a night game followed by a day game, and on the road again.
You forgot, head over to Gino's.
Yeah.
Cheesesteak at about 3 in the morning. Cook off the mound. He'll toss to Helton, and that's the inning, as Fontenot doubled, but he was stranded at second. 2 complete, 1-0 Cubs.
On Comcast Sportsnet, Tribune writers, sports stars, and celebrities join our buddy Dave Kaplan to discuss the day's hottest sports topics. Don't miss Chicago Tribune Live, presented by Harris Bank, weeknights at 5:30 on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
I think it's safe to say Cap is the hardest working man in show business here in Chicago.
Certainly the best dressed. We know that. That's a given.
Barmas, Cook, and Gonzalez. Emerson one time was the Rockies' everyday shortstop. Now he's the second baseman. With the Indiana State from Vincennes, Indiana. One got in on him, and he was able to fight it off 1-2. Wells facing the Rockies for the second time, first time here at Wrigley Field. Suffered an 11-5 loss on August 9th of last year at Colorado. But that is the desired result in that pitch. Changeup, which is boring in on the hitter. And he hit a weak ground ball to third. One out. Aaron Cook with a couple of doubles. Four out of 13. He's a career 159 batter. Cubs' next opponent, as we mentioned, the Phillies. They lead the Pirates 6-2 in the bottom of the fifth. The Phillies just got Jimmy Rollins back off the disabled list. And he is in the lineup and batting third. He has an RBI tonight. Derek Lee with another pick. So Cook lines out, 2 away. Get well wishes to our good friend and a member of our crew, Kenny Lyles, who's recovering from shoulder surgery. He's at home and watching. Get well soon, Kenny. Gonzalez for the second time. Fastball low and away. Brewers lead the Reds in the bottom of the fifth, 1-0. Gallardo and Cueto in a very good pitching matchup. That's going to find the seam out in left center, and Gonzalez now with an 11-game hitting streak.
Gonzalez leads this Rockies team in RBI out of the leadoff spot. That sinker was up and out over the plate, top of the thighs. Perfectly splits that gap in left center field with 2 outs. We mentioned Jimmy Rollins back in the lineup after missing about a month of the season, and Chase Utley out of the lineup tonight for the Phillies with flu-like symptoms. I think got to be very careful with that, not rush him back too soon.
I think he should come back Friday.
Yeah.
Smith lined out his first time. Cincinnati Reds setting the pace right now in the National League Central. But again, they trail at home against Milwaukee tonight. Reds have won 7 of their last 8. One, 2 on Smith. Brad Hops on deck. Gonzalez kept the inning alive with a 2-out double. Carlos trying to put him away. Here it comes. And that one's going to get down, and they're going to tie it. And Seth Smith just dropped the bat head down. He's going to try to get two, and he's going to be thrown out. The run does score. That'll be an RBI single as Colvin threw him out pretty easily at second base as he was trying to stretch it into a double. We're tied at 1. The order now for the Cubs. Fukudome as the Cubs run. Castro in lead. A 1-1 tie as Seth Smith tied it up with an RBI single. Slider is low and inside. We're in the bottom of the third. Both games of this series right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Tomorrow night, Yolis Chacin and Carlos Silva in a matchup of righties. Helton, a 3-time Gold Glover with a pretty easy play. Now the Rockies have battled some adversity, injuries on the field, and a death off the field. They've been grieving the death of team president Kelly McGregor. You see KSM on the patch on the front of their jersey in honor of McGregor, who was found dead in a hotel room on a business trip to Salt Lake City in April. He was just 48 years old. And everything I have read, he was a great guy and touched a lot of lives. Castro with a base hit. Kelly McGregor at one time was an NFL tight end.
Rare slider that time from Aaron Cook. He will mix in the occasional breaking ball if he feels guys are getting close to catching up to that sinker, getting underneath it. That time a slider that stayed up over the plate for Starlin Castro, and he promptly lines it into center field for a knock.
Lee struck out swinging his first time. Castro has not yet attempted a stolen base in the majors.
I don't think there's any question about Starlin Castro's speed. He certainly has base stealing speed. It may take him a little while to get into the rhythm of when to run and when not to run.
Ground ball to third. And they're going to turn a 5-4-3 double play. That's what Aaron Cook does best, get those ground balls. He likes to turn the double play. 1-1 after 3.
breakfast meal from Taco Bell, open 1 a.m. or later.
Ball one on Brad Hopp. As we start the fourth in a 1-1 tie, there are 4 LSU Tigers among the 50 on these two rosters. Terrio, Fontenot, Hopp, all played on the 2000 national title squad. Greg Smith, a pitcher with the Rockies. He's going to start after this series on Wednesday. Also an LSU alum. That'll be in Houston on Wednesday. Ohio Bobcats. I'm going to guess none.
I don't think there's any on these two teams. If there's any on any teams.
I think of the last guy from Ohio. The Ohio Bobcat in the big leagues. I'm going to think of the current one. I can't. Ooh. That hurt. You could see Brad Hopp, how he reacted. That stung.
Don't stick your hands in the whirlpool bath after that one.
The Menards grounds crew keeping this field in mint condition. Tulowitzki, who hit for the cycle last year against the Cubs in Denver. He has hit for the cycle. He has turned an unassisted triple play. That was in 07 against Atlanta. Two-time All-American at Long Beach State. The pitch. Fouled back into the upper deck. Ground ball through the hole and into left for a base hit. Well, Bob, I'm looking at baseballreference.com, and under Ohio University, you are the most recent on the list.
It's been quite a drought.
Dave Tobick, the most recent pitcher.
Tigers
from Ohio.
Go back to Steve Swisher before that.
Yeah. Those are the last 3. Mike Schmidt, the only Hall of Famer from Ohio.
We were known for our academics more so than our athletics.
Another one finding the hole, this time on the right side. First and second. So Tulowitzki and Helton with back-to-back singles.
We were told that Todd Helton's bat had slowed down considerably this year, but shows good quickness there, getting around on an inside sinker and hooking it through that hole on the right side of the infield. Miguel Olivo at the plate now, very aggressive swinger. He's only walked 8 times this season against 25 strikeouts. He's also grounded into 4 double plays. So you really like to keep that sinker down in the zone, get that ground ball.
Cook got the double play. That's what Wells wants. Lofted into shallow center. Colvin trying to deke the runners. It didn't work as Helton was able to read the play well enough to cheat towards second and get there before he was forced. They are loaded up. I'll tell you, he fooled me. I thought it might hang up for Colvin the way he reacted.
And the ball wasn't hit particularly hard off the bat of Miguel Olivo, just a little floater into shallow center, and with that wind blowing straight in toward home plate tonight. Colvin gave it a nice decoy trying to freeze the runners, but Tulowitzki and Helton too crafty to buy that one.
It brings up Stewart, who flied to left back in the second. Some trouble here for Randy Wells in a tie game. So the last three batters we saw hit the left, a single to right, and then a base hit to center. Two and 0. Wells knows that Stewart knows that Wells knows he has to throw a strike. So that's why the advantage goes to the hitter big time in this spot. Two and 1.
Not the usual aggressive swing you see in a 2-0 count for a guy with the bases loaded. Ian Stewart with a little defensive swing there just fouled that pitch off at the plate. Wells working his way back in the count here.
Swing and a miss. Much more aggressive that time. 2 and 2.
And so was Randy Wells. That was that four-seam fastball, maybe a little bit of a cutter up in the zone. When you're a sinker ball pitcher and the other team is suddenly starting to hit your sinker, you've got to show them something else just to get them off of that pitch. And he's gone with a couple of fastballs in this sequence, 90 and 91 miles an hour up in the zone.
Old foul is a former Cub manager, Don Baylor, looking on from the visiting dugout. Always good to see Don. First manager in Rockies history. Another 2-2. He struck him out. Big second out for Randy Wells. Time for our AT&T trivia question. On this date 4 years ago, Sean Marshall and three Cubs relievers combined on a one-hitter against the Nationals. Who had the only hit? You are disqualified because you have a photographic memory of every game we've ever called.
Yeah. Disqualified because I was told the answer earlier.
1-0 on Clint Barmas. Can't work around him to get to Aaron Cook because there's no place to put him. Bases are loaded.
A couple of current Cubs were on that Washington Nationals team. I think Alfonso Soriano was leading off back then. Marlon Byrd also on the Nationals.
Swing and a miss. 1-2. His double play partner Barma stands pretty tall, pretty upright in the batter's box. Fans want a strikeout. Wells just trying to get an out and get out of this inning. 2-2.
You definitely want to make something happen on this 2-2 pitch. Don't want to miss, run the count to full, have all three of those runners in motion on the 3-2 pitch. The manager used to call this the pitch of action. He wants something to happen right here. Something good.
After going in, he struck him out on a fastball. to get out of it. So 3 straight singles, and they don't score. Randy Wells. Sean Marshall and 3 relievers. One hit the Nats. Who had the only hit? It was Alfonso Soriano with a 6th inning single. That was it. Now he's a Cub. Ramirez with the lone Cubs RBI, a single, plating Kosuke back in the 1st. Nice job by Randy Wells, who got into some trouble, but then he worked his way out of it. Smith coming way over. He's going to slide and make the catch. Nicely done. Sean Marshall, a rookie starter back in 2006. I think we would both agree. And then when you look at the numbers and what he's done this year in relief, at least so far in his career, he's better suited to be a reliever. Although that night he was very good as a starter.
There's no question that Sean Marshall has starter stuff. For whatever reason, it hasn't quite equated to good success as a starter at the major league level. But you know, every year you kind of reconfigure your pitching staff and see how you're best suited to go into the next season. And who knows, Sean Marshall may be in the rotation before the end of this year, maybe in the rotation to start next season, but he seems to have found a home out there for the time being. Really doing a nice job out of the pen.
The 1-1 to Tyler Colvin is a strike. 1-2. Want to really make your head hurt? Talked about 4 former LSU Tigers. What if we just did former Tigers? You have 4 from LSU. You have Colvin and Baker, who are Clemson Tigers. Alan Trammell was a Detroit Tiger. We could go on and on, but we won't.
Xavier Nady saw a tiger at a zoo one time. Boy Hill had Frosted Flakes for breakfast. Tony the Tiger on the box. Just goes on and on.
Ball 4, he walked him. It's the first walk issued by the veteran Aaron Cook. Cook a few years ago. Very scary situation. Diagnosed with blood clots in both lungs. It was in August of '04. Had to have 2 surgeries to relieve those clots. Had a rib removed to help alleviate the problem. Doctor told him there was a chance he might not pitch again. Had a doctor and a paramedic tell him at one point that he could have died on the mound. He missed almost a full year before returning to the majors and won the Tony Conigliaro Award the following season, given to the player who overcomes adversity through the attributes of spirit, determination, and courage. Foul tip into the mitt, and Olivo was thinking about firing to first.
And the reason he wasn't able to complete his throw to first was because Alfonso Soriano fouled that ball into the glove of Miguel Olivo. When you're going to try to pick off a runner on base, you want to make sure you catch that ball in the good part of the glove so you can quickly get a grip and make the throw. The foul tip made that ball hit down near the heel of Olivo's glove and looked like he didn't get a good grip on it. Therefore, he didn't make the throw. Just changed the direction of that pitch enough that rather than catch it in the sweet spot of the glove, it was down in the palm a little bit. Just didn't feel like he had a good enough grip to make that throw. Or perhaps he saw that Colvin was headed back to first and didn't want to risk a throw to first. The Rockies trying to go up the ladder here on Soriano. Last 2 fastballs up above the belt, which is unusual for Aaron Cook.
Another 0-2 and another foul. Hey, Cub fans, this season it's easier than ever to find the seats you want or sell tickets to the games you can't make on StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Chicago Cubs. You'll find great seats and great service on StubHub all season. So go to StubHub.com and choose your seats today.
Cook continuing to try to elevate that fastball and get a swing and a miss from Soriano. But he must be throwing a 2-seamer. He's got just enough movement on that high fastball that it comes down to a position where Soriano can just keep alive, getting a piece of it, fouling it off.
This has literally been a very foul at bat. 5 pitches and they've all been hit foul. Keeping a close watch on Colvin. A little bit more important on a night like this with the wind blowing in. This has the feel, at least halfway through, of a 2-1, 3-2 type of game. A fake towards second as Soriano took the pitch low, 1-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out on a slow breaker.
Perfect example of a pitcher saving a pitch for later in the sequence. We didn't see any breaking balls that time from Cook. Hard sinkers down, some elevated fastballs that Soriano kept fouling off, and then snuck that breaking ball in there for a strike 3.
2 outs in the inning. Cook steps off to look at Colvin. Just off the outside corner. Reds have tied it up in Cincinnati 1-1 against the Brewers in the bottom of the 6th. Over in the American League, the White Sox and Tigers were washed out. Popped down to the mid of Olivo. Detroit coming off a series win over Boston. The Tigers have won 4 straight series at Comerica Park against playoff teams from last year. And they sit a game and a half behind Minnesota in the American League Central. But no game tonight. A bouncer, Tulowitzki booted it. He was shaded up the middle, so he had a long way to go to get it, and he'll be charged with an error. Cubs took advantage of the Ronnie Cedeno error yesterday against the Pirates. Let's see if they can do that tonight.
You see where Tulowitzki is positioned. He rarely ever gets his feet set as a shortstop. He's much more comfortable throwing on the run than he is gathering himself and getting going toward his target. That time just couldn't come up with the ball cleanly.
So that was going into tonight. He was leading the league at short, where you get a ton of chances. Let's see if Coy Hill can come up with something here. In sporadic time, he is 0 for his last 12. And he hits it foul.
And what we've seen with the sporadic playing time, it almost always goes hand in hand. You tend to lose your strike zone. You become a little too overly aggressive. You swing at a lot of pitchers' pitches. Boy has swung at a lot of first pitches in his at-bats recently.
Cardinals scored 4 in the first against Craig Stammen, and they lead the Nationals 4-0 in the 4th. Kyle Loesch pitching well early on for St. Louis. Cardinals are struggling as they have lost 9 of their last 12. The Nationals going into that series losing their last 3 games, all at Colorado. Just brought up hard throwing righty Drew Storen to help out their bullpen. Colvin at second, Fontenot at first. No hits in the inning, a walk and an error. And that's down the line. Foul by about a foot.
So close. That might have cleared him right there. Mike Fontenot had a nice jump off of first base. Boy, Hill making a bid for extra bases right down that left field line. The English on the ball and the wind blowing in from center, just too much to keep that one fair.
Cook set. His hands are high, about at his chest. And a flare, base hit. Cubs lead 2-1 as Colvin scores. So they do take advantage of the Tulowitzki error and get the lead run.
Ball got in on the hands of Coy Hill, just strong enough to muscle it over Troy Tulowitzki. Has to feel good for a guy that hasn't had much playing time lately and hasn't had much luck swinging the bat when he has played. Big RBI right there.
His second run knocked in of the year. Randy Wells takes a strike. Tulowitzki will flip. Barmas covering second as they force Hill. Coy Hill giving the Cubs the lead 2-1. It's an unearned run.
$1 footlong subs from Subway.
Cubs with their second lead of the night. RBI single by Coy Hill as the Cubs got an unearned run. Aaron Cook will lead off for the Rockies in the fifth. Chance here for a 500 homestand, which would be something considering the Cubs started it at 1-4. Inside to Cook on a fastball. Randy Wells with the very old school stirrups.
Call those ankle biters. Some of the stirrups stretch almost all the way up to the knee. Those just barely up above the shoes.
Well, as long as he thinks they're good luck, then they are. Ramirez throws out Cook. Visit the official online shop of the Chicago Cubs at Cubs.com. Browse the largest selection of official gear, including the latest apparel, nostalgic memorabilia, and authentic classics for the whole family. Get your gear from the official source, the Cubs.com shop. Accept no substitutes. Just once I would like to hear a baseball player say after, switching it up with the pants or the socks, somebody says, you're trying to change your luck. Have the guy just say, no, I just think it looks cool. Looks cool. I don't think it means anything. I just like getting a haircut. I want to shorten up the pants. That's all. But I would say 100 out of 100 guys do it because they think it is going to literally improve their performance. It's pretty common. Who's going to get it? Castro bare hands and couldn't get anything on the throw. Fortunately, the barrel of that bat missed Randy Wells as Gonzalez has his second hit of the night.
Well, so much of this game takes place between the ears, and if you believe the Sox make you a better pitcher, I'm all for it. It looked like Castro just didn't get a good grip. That ball climbed up his wrist there. He threw a changeup across the diamond to Derek Lee. With Gonzalez' feet, very little chance to get him there anyway.
And I would have to say, you are not, from what I've gathered, particularly superstitious, although during the perfect game by Randy Johnson, you stayed in the same exact spot.
I was a lot more superstitious as a manager than I ever was as a player.
But because you were brainwashed as a player, you can't even fathom the idea that you could have gone up to your starter every inning and said, Randy, do you know you have a no-hitter? And he still might have done it. You're convinced that he would not have thrown a perfect game if you had told him that in the fifth, right?
And I don't think it would have had anything to do with him. I don't think it would have altered his performance, but the baseball gods frown on such things.
The baseball gods. They would have told you, Skipper, you can't do that.
Sorry, Skipper. Going to have to snatch this one away from you guys.
We're going to give Chipper Jones a base hit, and that's the end of the perfect game. One strike on Seth Smith.
I'll tell you what, though, if you're around this game long enough, eventually you come around to that way of thinking. You see so many unexplained phenomenon in this game that it becomes easy just to say, well, that's the baseball gods.
You're right. I can't argue with you on that. I think a lot of it is for fear that if you do break one of those unwritten rules in the dugout and then something bad happens, everyone will blame you.
It's your fault. You sat in a different seat. Same seat, same thoughts. That's what I heard a lot of that night in Atlanta as Randy Johnson was going for that perfect game. Same seat, same thoughts. And every time I looked down the dugout, everybody was sitting in their assigned seat the whole night.
Check on Gonzalez is 4 for 8 in stolen bases.
I think I've told the story before, but at that point of Luis Gonzalez's career, we were taking him out for defensive purposes late in close games, and we decided just to leave him in. We didn't want to mess with anything that night. We thought about getting a relief pitcher up in the bullpen, but we didn't want not only Randy, we didn't want him to see it. We didn't want the rest of the team on the field to see a relief pitcher warming up when the guy's got a perfect game going, but we didn't want to let the ball game slip away should they get that first hit and then things fall apart quickly, but we just couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
A 3-1 pitch with a runner going is hit foul. I seem to recall Mike Hampton pitched a pretty good game that night, right?
Yeah.
On the other side, and I think it was that night Jason Schmidt had a dominating performance at Wrigley Field for the Giants. I want to say a one-hitter, like 135 pitches, but nobody remembers. Gonzalez goes again, and Smith fouls again.
For all of Carlos Gonzalez's speed, and he has speed to burn over there at first base, he's only 4 out of 8 in stolen base attempts this year. See his career numbers, 73% success rate.
They're middle of the pack, 21 steals, good for 8th in the NL. Gonzalez takes off yet again, and Smith hits it foul.
Coy Hill getting some work on his footwork behind home plate. The last 3 pitches, he shifted his weight, got his feet into position, closed that front shoulder, ready to receive the pitch and throw to second. And each time, ball fouled out of play.
Gonzalez goes, and a high, deep drive. Fukudome and Colvin, the wind pushing the ball back toward home plate. And that'll send Gonzalez back to first. The wind has shifted, now blowing right to left.
I thought that baseball was defying physics there. It started out toward the gap in right center field, ended up almost in straightaway center, and then I took a look up at those flags in center, and the wind has indeed turned around, going from right to left now. But as an outfielder, it would definitely behoove you to check those flags before every pitch, or at least every couple of pitches, because it can turn very quickly.
Well, good hops by former Cub Glenn Allen Hill to jump over that hard hit foul ball. A misplay down there by the ball dude. Gets through Coy Hill. Gonzalez now at second base.
Cut fastball that had a little more movement than Coy Hill was anticipating there, down and in to the left-handed hitting Brad Hopp. Just caught off the end of the webbing of the glove and got away.
It's called a wild pitch, but might be changed.
Well, you know how I stick up for my catchers, but I'd have to call that one a pass ball. It's just a reach across middle of the shins for Coy Hill behind the plate. And unless there was some kind of a cross up there, that's a pitch that normally he would handle with ease.
It has been changed to a pass ball. And a ground ball to Fontenot. This will end the inning. Halfway home. On a cold Monday night here in mid-May. The Cubs lead 2-1. We welcome Gail back to work after maternity leave, and the Cubs leading this one 2-1 as they try to get on a roll, make it 2 in a row tonight.
Well, you got to start somewhere, and it was a very well-played ball game against the Pirates yesterday to get that victory. We talked about at the top of the show it was going to be a scratch and scrape kind of an offensive game today, and so far the Cubs have been able to do that just a little better than the Rockies.
Rockies won the wild card last year, and certainly pretty high hopes going into this season. They battled some injuries. They come in a game over 500. I have a feeling they're going to be around in the West.
I don't think they're going to go away. I mean, their offense is too good not to put up big runs, especially in their home ballpark. And their perennial all-star first baseman Todd Helton not up to snuff so far offensively. And you get the feeling that the Rockies are similar to the Cubs in the fact they're just waiting for Helton to get going, much like the Cubs are waiting for Aramis Ramirez to get his bat going. And both teams feel when that happens they'll be in good shape offensively.
Cooks 2-1. Hit in the air to left center. Gonzalez a beat on it. We'll bring up Castro, who's 1 out of 2. Bob, they stole your blanket.
Place to be tonight, wrapped up in a blanket.
Castro dropping a single into center. Starlin 2 for 3. Catch the exciting playoff action live. Text playoffs to B-Hawks. That's 242-957. To join Blackhawks Mobile and be entered to win a pair of tickets when the Blackhawks take on the San Jose Sharks in Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals. That's playoffs to 242-957. No purchase necessary. Message and data rates apply. Big win in Game 1 yesterday. Cook will try to coax another double play ball off the bat of D. Lee, who hit into a 5-4-3 his last time up.
A lot of managers choose to use the hit and run extensively against a sinker ball pitcher like Aaron Cook. We saw it repeatedly against Greg Maddux in his time here in Chicago and also down in Atlanta. Those guys that throw a lot of ground balls, if you try to play station to station, you're going to hit into a lot of double plays. The theory being the guy's going to be around the plate. He throws a lot of strikes, gets a lot of ground balls at the plate. Why not go ahead, start the runner? If you're going to hit a ground ball anyway, maybe you open some holes defensively in that infield. Maybe the ground ball gets through. At worst, you try to stay out of the double play.
Well, this is a carbon copy. 5-4-3. So 5 in the books. Cubs 2, Rockies 1.
Rockies. Coverage begins at 6:30 with GMC Sports Night. Cubs Rockies tomorrow night at 7 on your home for more Cubs games than any other network. Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Swing and a miss by Troy Tulowitzki. Or as they say in Denver, too low. They do that all weekend whenever we're there. Pretty sick of it by the end of the series. Tulowitzki, Helton, and Olivo. This is not an easy part of this lineup for any opposing pitcher. They picked up 3 straight singles with 1 out back in the 4th, but did not score when Wells struck out Stewart and Barmas to end it.
Can you see the exchange on a pitch? The catcher turns to the umpire and said, "Where was that?" And the umpire says, "Too low." And the hitter says, "Yeah." Cold night here at Wrigley, but I guess we shouldn't complain, Len, because back in 1945 on this date, for the 4th consecutive day, every game in the American League was rained out. 4 straight days of rainouts for the entire league.
What year?
1945.
Well, most of the teams were fairly bunched up in the East Coast and the Midwest. Nobody was out west back in the mid-40s, but wow, 4 straight days.
A lot of doubleheaders. Another one for you here. Minnesota playing in Toronto tonight. Now, back in 1992, the Blue Jays on their 21st home game of the season went over 1 million in attendance. Unless they draw 700,000 tonight, they're not going to reach that mark. Through their first 20 games this year, the Blue Jays have only drawn 316,000 people.
Wow. It's a big ballpark. Rogers Center, formerly called Sky Dome. A tapper picked up by Randy Wells, and he gets Tulowitzki.
Randy Wells gets to it in good shape. He sets his feet, squares his body for that throw to first base. We've seen a lot of pitchers make a similar play to that, and that throw tails back into the runner, putting that first baseman in a very vulnerable position. That time, D. Lee able to get the ball and get out of the way quickly.
Helton hits it foul down the left field line. In the just completed decade, Todd Helton reached base more often than any other player, 2,796 times. How about that? Over a 10-year period, he reached base almost 3,000 times. Incredible.
Always had a great eye at the plate. He's willing to take his walks. For a guy that doesn't run particularly well, he's a great base runner. Really knows when to take the extra base, knows how to work for that secondary lead, and he can hit.
Former college quarterback at Tennessee. It's 3-2 on Helton. just off the outside corner. That was close. Ball 4. That's a first walk given up by Randy Wells.
Didn't miss by much. Trying to nip that outside corner on Todd Helton. Wanting to freeze on the pitch. He thought it was away, and he gets a call from Jim Wolf behind the plate. Randy Wells has a high of 106 pitches this season. That came in his last start against the Marlins. That came over 8 innings.
0-1 on Miguel Olivo. .104 career homers, 106 career walks. No player has ever ended a career. Finish that note here in a second. Kosuke calling off Colvin to make the catch. No player's ever hit at least 100 homers and had more homers than walks. It's an odd number. That's really incredible when you think about it. 104 walks in his entire career. Ian Stewart 0 for 2.
It makes you wonder why you would ever throw him a really good hittable strike. Nibble around, lead him out of the strike zone. But as we say all the time, pitchers make mistakes, and so far this year, Miguel Olivo has been punishing those mistakes.
Good changeup, 1-1. Yeah, 104 homers, 106 career walks for Olivo coming into tonight. No pitch, no balk. Time was called. Game score has matched the conditions. Wind blowing in, and it's 2-1 here in the 6th inning. I don't think we've even seen an outfielder catch a ball as deep as the warning track tonight.
The deepest fly ball we've seen was Ian Stewart to end the 2nd inning. Somebody hit one to left center field that got close to the warning track out there. Well, the 2 sinker ballers on the mound, you don't expect to see a lot of deep fly balls. And that's part of your preparation as an infielder. When you take the field for batting practice and go out to take your ground balls, depending on who your starting pitcher is that day, some days you work a little harder at it because you know you're going to have a busy night. Randy Wells has that sinker working, keeping the ball down in the zone. He's going to get a lot of ground balls. Same thing for the Rockies and Aaron Cook.
Line and caught by Derek Lee. He's gone down to get 3 of those liners tonight. Rockies lead 1.
Veen Investment Suites are available now for games during the season. To book your suite or for more information, visit Cubs.com/suites or call 773-404-4200.
Aaron Cook's 1-0 to Aramis Ramirez. That's hammered out in his center, but caught. He hit it hard right on the button. Gonzalez hauling it in. It's a kind of play that'll make you talk to yourself.
It's been a good night at the plate for Ramirez. He got a base hit, drove in a run his first time up, then a deep fly ball driven to left field. Now this a line drive into center field. He was 0 for 10 lifetime against Aaron Cook coming into this matchup tonight, but he's hit him hard 3 times.
John Grabo is up. We have seen the end of Randy Wells' night after 108 pitches, which is a season high. He threw 2 strikes for every ball that was out of the zone. And scalded by Colvin. So he's on for the second time. Watch Comcast Sportsnet Cubs game replays on demand with Xfinity TV from Comcast. Don't miss the action. Call 1-800-XFINITY today. A line out and a punch out for Soriano. Scored the game-winning run yesterday. I think you could appreciate this. You've talked about Miguel Olivo and how good he's been in nailing base stealers this season. I'm sure some of it has to do with the pitchers helping him, but he has to appreciate Aaron Cook. You know, Aaron Cook could just look at it and go, you know, Miguel, you're so good, just throw him out. But he's worked very hard at keeping the Cubs' potential base stealers honest. It is a team effort.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. And you can include the middle infielders in that as well. If they get over there in a good position to take the throw, quick tag, get the ball in and out before the runner has a chance to kick it out. But really, it all starts with that guy on the mound. Vary your delivery to home plate. Don't allow that runner to time your motion to home plate. Cook has used a slide step from time to time. He's also used the big leg kick to keep the runners guessing.
6-4-3. Aaron Cook still in this game because he's gotten 3 double play balls to end innings. A 6-pitch 6th. Off to the 7th. 2-1 Cubs. Night presented by Dex. Tonight after Sylvania Cubs post-game live, Chris Bogan in San Jose to preview Game 2, the Hawks and the Sharks. Join Mark and Pat for Sports Night presented by Dex tonight after post-game live only on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. So we get to the 7th, and Randy Wells will start this inning, but I think the leash is very short. Clint Barmas fouls off. Aaron Cook is on deck. We'll see if he'll take the at-bat with his team trailing. Low and inside. 2 balls and a strike. Caridad, the righty, has joined the southpaw Graybo.
Clint Barmas has struggled at the plate this year. He's hitting only .228 coming into play tonight. He's 0 for 2 on the evening, so that'll go down a little bit more, but he is lightning quick turning those double plays at second base.
Fontenot the grab, and Cook looked back into the dugout, and Jim Tracy said, go ahead. He's going to take this at bat, trailing in the late innings.
Cubs both been quiet right now. Both relievers just standing on the mound watching the action. Well, Graybo definitely ready to go into the ball game. Caridad must be extremely close because he's even stopped throwing down there, waiting to see what happens to Aaron Cook's at bat.
Hard bunt back to Wells. Two outs. And that'll be it. Lou is going to ask for John Graybo against Carlos Gonzalez. Marlon Bird's going to come in and play center. I think Colvin's going to left and Soriano's coming out. It's Alexis pursuing perfection. Call to the pen. About a week with the left knee problem. Will face Carlos Gonzalez. 2 down. We're in the 7th. Nobody on. Quality start for Randy Wells. 6 2/3, 1 run. Inside 2-0. This is a time to bring in a lefty. You have Gonzalez, Smith, and Hop. Although, as Bob mentioned very early in the ball game, Ryan Spilborghs shares some time with Smith in the outfield. Would be available. High in the air and pulled down the right field line. Foul. Jim Tracy also has an interesting potential move he can make late in this game. Now, small sample size, but Jason Giambi is 3 for 8 against lefties. He's been a lot better against lefties than righties. High in the air, Fukudome calling off Bird. Stretch time with Tim Stoddard.
Today's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game is former Chicago Cub pitcher Tim Stoddard.
All right, Cub fans, let me hear you. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back for its root. Root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Let's score some runs.
Chicago Blackhawks. Patrick Kane calls Harry Carey's the best place to watch the Hawks outside the Madhouse. Join the celebration. Visit HarryCareysRestaurants.com as Mike Fontenot flies out to Brad Hop for the first out here in the bottom of the 7th. You can call 773-HOLY COW. Tim Stoddard, former Cub pitcher, is with us in the booth. Always great to see you, Tim.
Well, thank you. It's very nice to be here.
Nice night to pitch with the wind blowing in.
Every time you walked in this place, first thing you do is check the flags.
1 out, Coy Hill against Aaron Cook.
Do your pitchers do the same thing up at Northwestern when they come to the ballpark, check the flags?
Absolutely. I've taught them well. Got to know which way it's going, keep it down, throw it up, whichever one it would take to get the batter out.
1-1 the count on Coy Hill. Always fun to peruse the stats. You never made a start in your long major league career. Now, what I want to know is, did you ever get close to any sort of emergency start?
I got close one time where I was playing with the Yankees. We were in Cleveland. We had a bunch of guys that were hurt, and he came up and he says, okay, you got Sunday start unless we need you Saturday. So needless to say, I ended up throwing like 5 2/3 on Saturday. Didn't get to start. They scored 16 runs in the first 5 innings. of the game I would have started. So I got a no decision in the game I pitched, and the game I almost started, I got nothing.
2 quick outs.
I'll tell you this, Len. I did catch Tim Stoddard when he was a starting pitcher. We were teammates many moon ago back for the Bloomington Bobcats into Central Illinois Collegiately.
Yes, we were. You did a fine job calling those games.
Had smart fingers when you were on the mound, I'll tell you that. But we were talking between innings, and I knew you would remember this. We played in Springfield, Illinois one night. Tim Stoddard broke a board in the left center field fence with a line drive.
You know, the thing is, when you're a pitcher, you always swing hard just in case you hit the bat, and that's exactly what I did. But, yeah, you're right, Bob. I would definitely remember that no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those were the good days, too.
Oh, man, we had some fun, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
And we were a good team.
We were. We had a lot of guys that got signed and got an opportunity to play on that team, and it was a whole lot of fun.
Here's the 0-1 to Marlon Byrd. It is low and inside. All right, well, you beat my alma mater long before I was there, but the 74 NCAA championship game. Al McGuire got kicked out in that game, right? You guys went on a big run, NC State?
Yeah, I mean, Al did such a good job there, at the time. And I think they came back the next year, too. And, we had an awful good ball club. We had David Thompson, so that made us a great team right there, just having him as a teammate. So, the exciting part and the big thing was being able to stop UCLA's streak, because I think they were either 7 or 8 at that point of straight titles. So it was nice to stop them. And we played Marquette. They were really kind of a young team too at that time. So again, I've always considered myself about as fortunate as you can. I'm playing in college with Bob, and if you get great teammates, you always look better. That's the way I look at it.
Bigger thrill for you playing in the national title game, college basketball, or winning a World Series game as a pitcher?
Everyone is the key no matter where you are. Whatever's the top at that level is always what you shoot for. So it's hard to say anyone was better than the other. They were all great.
Well, what a great career in both sports. Tim Stoddard, always great to see you. End of 7. Cubs 2, Rockies 1. Retired Carlos Gonzalez to finish off the 7th, and he will start the 8th against Seth Smith. Brad Hopp on deck, and then Troy Tulowitzki. Right now, Carlos Marmol is up in the Cubs pen. That's it. No Carlos Zambrano here in the 8th. Low and outside, 1-1. So based on what we can just see right now, looks like the plan is Lou would like Grabo to get the first 2 guys out and then bring in Marmol to face Tulowitzki, and then he gets the 9th. Into center and a base hit in front of Marlon Byrd. As we said, that was the plan. But you have to adjust. Leadoff man is on. Don't miss your chance to be part of the brand new PNC Club of Chicago. The new club, located down the third base line, offers high-end catering, a top-shelf bar, indoor and outdoor seating, and other benefits that allow for a truly all-inclusive game day experience. Membership also includes parking for every home game. To reserve your season tickets in the PNC Club of Chicago, call 773-404-4200. Well, this is interesting in this sense. Hopefully it doesn't come up, but if Graybo struggles here in this inning and can't get a couple quick outs, he's 2-0 on Hop. Right now, the only guy available is the closer, Marmol. And Lou has been hesitant to use his closer before there are 2 outs in the 8th. But that is with a lead. It's 3-0. We did not hear that Zambrano, for instance, wasn't available for any reason.
As you said, the plan was for John Graybo to come out and get 2 quick outs against the 2 left-handed hitters and then turn it over to the closer to clean up the mess. The plan has gone awry, and now we're going to see, it looks like Sean Marshall beginning to throw along with Marmol down in the bullpen.
Three and one. Ball 4 to bring up Tulowitzki with 2 on and nobody out. That's a first walk issued by a Cubs pitcher tonight.
Tulowitzki has put down 1 sacrifice bunt this season. I know Jim Tracy does not like to use his middle of the order guys to put down sacrifice bunts, but Troy Tulowitzki is a very unselfish team player, and if he feels like that's what the situation calls for, it wouldn't surprise me to see him try to bunt for a base hit right here.
Ball 1. Second walk issued. Helton did walk against Wells back in the 6th. Randy Wells with a career high in pitches thrown tonight, 116. He was really good. Missed again, 2-0. Here comes Larry. One pitch at a time, if I can read lips. It's Larry Rothschild talking to John Graybo. This is the toughest part of the order. Well, hopefully John can come back in this at bat. Two and one. Zambrano is not even in the bullpen. He's in the home dugout.
Things that make you go.
2-2.
We didn't hear anything from the Cubs about Zambrano's availability in the ball game tonight, but this would normally be the situation of the game where he would be the right-hander throwing in the bullpen rather than Carlos Marmol.
foul and out of play. Leadoff single by Seth Smith. Hop then walked, and now it's Troy Tulowitzki. Out in his center, Bird hustling in, makes a catch. Runners back to their bases. Marlon Bird with a diving catch, 1 out.
What a tremendous catch by Marlon Bird in center field. Man. Just a little floater straight in front of him. He's coming right in towards second base. The wind pushing that ball down. He had to really make up ground at the very end of this play. Oh, that is a huge play in this ball game.
Well, they got a big grab from Fukudome yesterday, and tonight it's Marlon Bird. The runners, of course, had to go halfway. And alert base running by Smith. And Hop, who has been removed for a pinch runner. A much faster Dexter Fowler. Hop, by the way, recently came off the DL. He had a left quad strain, so might not be running as well as normal. And it's Todd Helton. Here we go. Strike one on a fastball.
I'll tell you, as a manager, you think about those kind of things. I mentioned earlier in the ball game that Todd Helton, with 514 odd doubles in his career, can Brad Hop score from first base on a double? Apparently Jim Tracy did not think so. Replaces him with Dexter Fowler, who can score from first base on a double.
Helton is locked in tonight. He's 2 for 2 with a walk. Both hits have been singles. Graybo's going to have to be around the plate. Helton has a very good eye. 2-1.
Well, 1 for 7 lifetime against John Graybo.
The 2-1 pitch swung on and missed.
Good slider that time from John Graybo. That's actually his third best pitch. Sinking fastball, a good straight changeup. He will use that slider, however, to the left-handed hitters, and threw a good one right there to Todd Helton.
A kick and a 2-2 is low. 3 balls, 2 strikes. We'll see if the Rockies take a calculated risk and send the runners.
I would guess yes, just because Todd Helton is such a good contact hitter. He's got such a great eye for the strike zone. It's a calculated risk, but on a night like this, I think you have to force the issue a little bit more than normal.
They're not running, and it's outside. The bases are loaded for Miguel Olivo, and that's it. Lou is going to ask for Carlos Marmol. He's going to go to the closer for the final 5 outs. Lexus pursuing.
March 6th at 2:30. Collect autographs on an authentic MLB baseball from the 2010 Cubs players and coaches in attendance. Limited tickets are available for $300 each. Proceeds benefit Chicago Cubs charities. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com or call 773-404-CUBS.
Bases loaded. Miguel Olivo takes a sweeping slider outside. Ball one. 3 on, 1 out, 2-1 Cubs. This would go down as an extremely difficult save if he can pull it off. 2-0.
This is the one thing you worry about with Carlos Marmol coming into a bases loaded situation. Of course, he's used to starting an inning, coming in for a save in the 9th. Sometimes he has command issues to that first hitter.
3-0. He's thrown 3 straight sliders. Ball 4. That ties the game. We talked about it. Olivo prefers not to walk, but he gladly takes it there. It's 2-2. Three walks in the inning. Now he's just going to try to save the tie as the slider is in there for a strike, his first of this appearance. Ian Stewart without a hit in 3 tries. Garrett moving up now. The corner men are going to play in. They are back in double play depth up the middle. Swing and a miss, 0-2. That's a tough blown save for Carlos Marmol, but that's how it will be listed. Up the middle. Castro will step on second. Double play. Castro turns the 6-3, showing nice poise in a tough spot. Keeps the game tied. It's 2-2. This goes from center to right to accommodate Fowler, the speedy center fielder. Aaron Cook warming up for the bottom of the 8th. But they were just biding some time. Here's Joel Beimel. A Lexus pursuing perfection call to the pin. Until late in spring training. March 23rd. Came back to the Rockies on a minor league deal. And Kosuke greets him with a single into left center.
Good start to the inning for the Cubs. Kosuke Fukudome hanging in there against a tough left-hander and smacking that ball past Troy Tulowitzki into center field for a base hit. The Beimel has been really, really good for the Rockies this year. He gave up a home run to Chipper Jones in his first outing of the season back on the 16th of April and has not allowed a run since.
That'll be it for Beimel. One pitch and he's done.
Go ice your arm.
Rafael Betancourt. A Lexus pursuing perfection call to the bullpen. What? Of the Chicago Cubs. Fine Line offers exclusive insider coverage and photography all year long. Visit the Vineline blog at Cubs.com for extra content and order today. Right-hander Rafael Betancourt is on for the Rockies. With some righties coming up, Castro, Lee, and Ramirez. Fukudome's at first after a leadoff single against Joe Beimel. That hit for Kosuke was his first off a left-hander since April 22nd. Granted, he hasn't had a lot of at-bats against lefties, 0 for his last 6 before that base hit. The bullpen has battled some injuries this year. On pause by Betancourt, who steps off. Their closer, Houston Street, on the DL. The right shoulder injury. Then he strained his groin recently, so he's going to be out even longer. Franklin Morales was filling in for Street. He's on the DL. And Manny Corpus was filling in for Morales, who was filling in for Street. Just worked 3 games in 2 days, so I doubt we would even see Corpus tonight, even if the Rockies get in a safe spot.
I think it would be an emergency situation only for Corpus to pitch tonight.
Castro already showing bunt. Gets it down. They're going to throw to second. And they'll get him. So fielder's choice for Castro. He bunted it just a little bit too hard.
Too hard and too much right back to the mound. You got to get that ball preferably up the first baseline. You see Helton holding on the runner, charges late. Anywhere but right back to the mound, you've got a chance. But tip your cap to Betancourt. He got rid of that ball quickly. A lot of pitchers, after they pick up that bunt, will have to take a crow hop, almost like wind up, before throwing the ball to second base. That time Betancourt looked like an infielder, just scooped and threw all in one motion.
Rough night for Derek. He has struck out and bounced into 2 double plays, but those were against Cook. Fastball in there. Strike 1.
The 2 previous plate appearances for Derek Lee against Betancourt. One was an intentional walk, the other an unintentional walk.
It's like a 4-step process for Betancourt to get into the set position.
That seems to be the trendy thing this year. If you watch relief pitchers around Major League Baseball, those that come in out of the bullpen and immediately pitch from the stretch position, it used to be you got your sign from your catcher, you went into your set position and you delivered the ball or threw a pick off to first. Now there is a long involved process involving several near stops before finally coming to a rest and then delivering the ball to home plate. A little toe tap, another toe tap, another little tap. Finally comes to a set position.
If you like toe taps, you love Rafael Betancourt.
Yes, you do. Mariano Rivera has had a little bit of that in his delivery throughout his career, but it seems like more and more pitchers this season have adopted a similar style of a setup. And apparently it's all legal as long as it's a continuous motion, as long as something is moving. Once you come to a complete stop, no more toe taps after that.
Does that include your eyelids?
Well, yeah. You can bat your eyes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 taps. In a 1-2 pitch, he struck him out swinging. 2 away. It's up to Aramis. We have not seen the Cubs test the strong arm of Miguel Olivo tonight. Castro's had a few chances.
I think the real issue, Lennon, you pointed it out very clearly earlier in the ballgame. The Rockies pitching staff pays a lot of attention to base runners. They alter their delivery to home plate. They hold the ball. They step off. They throw over to first. Use that quick pitch to home plate, the slide step, making it very tough to get a good jump at first base. And you need to have a good jump if you expect to steal against Miguel Olivo behind the plate.
Castro with probably his biggest lead of the night. Betancourt throws again.
A little bit of a flinch that time. Castro's getting back easily. You mentioned he lengthened his lead by almost a full step over there at first base, but still managing to get back on his belly well ahead of the pickoff throw.
Finally, the pitch, it's high on a heater.
Now, all catchers love it when their pitchers pay attention to the base runners, but also that's when pitchers tend to make mistakes. You start worrying about that base runner over there. Your mechanics get a little out of whack trying to unload the ball too quickly to home plate, and you make a mistake to that hitter.
There he goes. Pop foul. He got a good jump.
That's a tough thing to do because Aramis Ramirez got a pitch he thought he could handle right there, but that's a pretty good jump by Castro, and you want him to get into scoring position if at all possible with 2 outs in the inning. Sometimes as a hitter, you have to take a hittable strike to allow that base runner a chance to get into scoring position where it's going to be much easier to drive him in.
Not running. 2-1. Olivo with a terrific caught stealing percentage. Betancourt, his second team in the majors, former Cleveland Indian. Converted middle infielder. Castro runs yet again, swing and a miss, throw to second, not in time, and Castro's going to take off for third. He'll get there. So a stolen base and an error on Miguel Olivo.
Not a great jump by Starlin Castro. He just made up for it with his speed. Clearly was going to easily beat that throw to second base, and when it got away from Barmas, Castro finally found the baseball. You see, slid on his belly. He wasn't sure where it went immediately, but he picked it up quickly and was able to advance on to third base.
So he gets his first career steal. So let's see if the Cubs can again take advantage of a Rockies error, which they did back in the fourth. The fans are up. 2-2 on Aramis. A go-ahead run 90 feet away with 2 gone. The kick and the pitch just got a piece. A little more mustard on that fastball at 93 from Betancourt.
It's always worth looking, Len, with a runner at third base. Miguel Olivo behind the plate, 2 pass balls this season. Rafael Betancourt on the mound in 11 2/3 innings has uncorked 3 wild pitches.
And Ramirez also has to be on his toes. He might swing and miss at a pitch. Might have to beat out a throw to first. High fly to center. Fowler underneath. We'll head to the 9th in a 2-2 tie.
Live. Send your questions to pglchicago@comcastsportsnet.com and you could get an answer live on air. Don't miss Sylvania Cubs postgame live immediately following the game right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
2-2 tie in the 9th. Carlos Marmol got a big double play ball after he walked Miguel Olivo with the bases loaded. So he gave up an inherited run, which was charged to John Grayboll, but he did keep it tied, as did Rafael Betancourt in the bottom of the 8th. 2-0 the count. Jason Giambi's going to hit next in the pitcher's spot. Slider strike to Barmas. Two and two. And he laid off 3 and 2. Walks were the problem in the 8th. The Cubs walked 3 to help the Rockies tie it up. Giambi just 3 for 21 against righties this year as Barmas pops it up. Will there be a play? No. Line foul.
It's so important to keep that leadoff runner off the bases, obviously, in a tie ball game in the 9th inning. You really want to handcuff Jim Tracy right here and not give him the opportunity to push any buttons. Maybe pull Giambi back for another pinch hitter, try to put down a sacrifice bunt, maybe play a little hit and run with Barmas. You get that lead runner out, the lead batter out in the 9th inning, it really limits what you can do as a manager to try to help your team manufacture a run.
Another 3-2, a swing and a miss on a fastball. He struck him out.
Good time to change pitches right there for Marma. We know he has an electric fastball to go along with that nasty slider. Barmas looked like he was getting closer and closer to making solid contact to the slider. Carlos crossed him up by blowing a fastball right by him.
Here's Giambi. Strike one.
0 for 7 as a pinch hitter this season. Hey, with Jason Giambi, you worry almost as much about him drawing a base on balls. He's always had a great eye for the strike zone.
Marmol has not gone beyond an inning and a third since July of last year. If he completes this inning, it'll be an inning and 2/3 tonight, as he faces a 5-time AL All-Star and the MVP of that league with Oakland in 2000. Off the plate inside. 2-2. Gonzalez on deck. We're in the 9th in a 2-2 ball game. Rockies have come back to tie it twice. Ripped down the line, foul. Giambi hasn't been here a whole lot. Most of his career over in the AL. Swing and a miss. 2 Ks here in the inning for Marmol.
And a good idea right there. Throw a slider out of the strike zone. I'm not sure if that was Carlos's intent, but that was the right pitch to throw to Jason Giambi. He too was getting right on that slider, just missed pulling that one foul down the right field line, and Carlos throws one down below the knees and gets a swinging strike 3.
Carlos Gonzalez, a former Athletic. Boy, what a division series he had against Philadelphia last year. He went 10 for 17. The Rockies lost that series 3-1, but not because of anything he did or didn't do. Strike 3. That gives the Cubs a chance to win it in the bottom of the 9th if they can get one. has done a nice job. Making his 17th appearance. He'll try to get this game into the 10th. Former Cincinnati Red. Colvin getting the start in center. He's now playing left. A walk and a run in the 4th. A single in the 6th. 1 for 2. Here we go. Called strike. Sean Marshall just got back up in the Cubs pen. He's playing catch. Shouldn't take him too long to get ready for a potential 10th inning, although he'd rather the game ends here in the 9th. Cued off the end of the bat. Well, we were talking earlier, Bob, about the 2-game series. If this game did go deep into extras, considering the bullpen situations, we don't know about Carlos Zambrano. We just know he hasn't been used tonight, and we last saw him sitting in the dugout. But the Rockies bullpen, not nearly as fresh. But you can't really set up for much of the rest of the series because there's only one more game. You have a 3 or 4 game series. You go 14, 15 innings in game 1. You see just about everybody, and that could possibly affect the rest of the series long term.
One of those extra inning games where you have to open up a can of bullpen and use everybody, depending on how they've been used leading up to that game. But that can really put a stress on an organization. You have to reach down to the minor leagues to call up some pitching help as Tyler Colvin chases a high fastball for strike 3.
Well, they had a doubleheader Saturday, single game yesterday. We've been at the ballpark a lot over the last couple of days. We saw Terrio. I think if Colvin had gotten on, he would have taken the at-bat. Instead, it's Xavier Nady, who won the game yesterday with his first pinch hit since 2008 when he was a Pittsburgh Pirate.
Season numbers for Xavier Nady against Matt Belisle, the right-hander, on the mound. He's 3 for 8 lifetime with a double.
Belisle did get the win yesterday as the Rockies beat the Nationals 2-1. Belisle with a scoreless 8th. Inside corner for a strike. Rockies welcome back Jeff Francis, who was excellent in a no decision yesterday. His first start since 08. 0-2. And actually, the Rockies got deep starts in those 3 games, Saturday and Sunday. So their bullpen's not in terrible shape, but again, we don't expect to see Manny Corpus tonight. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Saw a little bit of Matt Belisle when he was a member of the Cincinnati Reds. He's a fastball slider guy, pretty good command.
Ball strike. Belisle firing bullets. The Reds won again, 6-3 over Milwaukee. As they remain in first place, and the Brewers have dropped 7 straight. St. Louis leading late 6-2 over the Nationals. In the American League, A-Rod with a dramatic 2-run homer in the bottom of the ninth. Red Sox and Yankees 9-9. Yankees led that game 5-0 in the first. Broken back grounder as Belial fields, and we will head to extras in a 2-2 tie from Wrigley. All season long, feed your wild side. We are in the 10th. Rockies have played now 6 extra innings affairs. They're 3-2. The Cubs are 1-1. As left-hander Sean Marshall will work to Seth Smith. Smith led off the 8th with a base hit against John Graybo and would walk home on the bases loaded free pass to Olivo to tie it up. And that's why we're in the 10th. Curve for a strike, 0-2. 35,760 the paid crowd tonight. And you get to see a little extra baseball. Well, I think most everybody had hoped the Cubs had won this thing in regulation. Called strike 3. Smith is saying to Jim Wolf, yeah, it was in the zone when it hit the mitt, but not when I saw it cross the plate. And he might have been right, but it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter at this point. He's already been called out, but with the naked eye on first look, it looked like that ball never really quite got back to the inside corner and may have been high as well when it crossed the front of the plate. Definitely taken.
Switch hitting Dexter Fowler. His first at bat, and he slices it down the line. Foul. That's good news.
That's real good news because Dexter Fowler can fly. That was at least 2, and depending on how Fukudome handled that ball, if it were fair, maybe 3.
You know why that wasn't fair, Bob? Because he's a Fowler.
Oh. Well, Rockies have Fowler from the side of the plate they prefer to have him. He's a switch hitter, batting 185 as a lefty, 342 as a righty. He's trying that right field line again. That's going to go foul as well with the wind pushing it in that direction. Strategy talk there on the mound between Coy Hill and Sean Marshall. They had some time. Fowler was about halfway between first and second by the time that ball came down foul. So Coy just went out to the mound to see exactly how they want to go about finishing him off.
Curve is low. Time.
No question about that one. That's a slider right in the middle of the plate. After the big, slow curveball, he comes back with the harder slider right in the middle of the plate.
The Rockies have not put a ball in play over the last 2 innings. 5 consecutive strikeouts, Marmol and Marshall. A key play in this game, Tulowitzki robbed, as Marlon Byrd made a diving catch, running straight in toward home plate. Rockies would tie it in that inning, but it could have been a lot worse had that ball gotten down, or for that matter, maybe even past Byrd. Two and one. Two. Marcus Thames with a 2-run homer off Jonathan Papelbon. 11-9. The Yankees beat the Red Sox. 4 in the ninth to win it. 2-2 on the way, and Tulowitzki swung and missed. And Coy Hill will fire to Derek Lee. Back-to-back innings in which the Cubs struck out the side. Bottom 10, 2-2. Games. Bill McKechnie is 45 away as Lou continues to move up the list. Talking to Lou in his office before the game, and we were congratulating him. He said, you know what? The most important thing was the Cubs won yesterday.
Yeah, the other 1,799 were history. He was just worried about yesterday's ball game. That's the only one you really have any control over.
Ryan Theriot playing the leadoff man here in the 10th as he bats for Coy Hill. So if we get to the 11th, and again the Cubs hope to avoid that, Giovanni Soto will have the catcher's gear on. He also might bat in this inning, you never know. The 0-1 on the way in the dirt. Theriot protecting that ailing front elbow that was plunked a couple of days ago, and it knocked him out of the starting lineup the last 2 games. Well, Lyles 1-1. Now 2-1. He had a relatively routine 1-2-3 ninth inning to get this game into extras. Coming in too far in 3-1. That's a strike. Well, they're being pretty careful with Theriot as Olivo keeps setting up shop on each corner. Well, they don't want to walk Theriot. He hasn't homered this year. Wind blowing in tonight. Inside out swing to right. And a running grab nicely done by Gonzalez. That ball was drifting away from him.
Hoping that one would get down, get a little more push from the wind. It was slicing away from Gonzalez, but with his great speed, he's able to make up some ground, make a nice running catch down that right field line.
And on that note, the Rockies have really made an effort to have speed in the outfield because of spacious Coors Field. Marlon Byrd is 0 for 1. Came into play center in the 7th. Wind about as calm as it's been all night. 2-0. The flags on the foul poles are not really moving at all. Tulowitzki looks it in. Boy, if they had a radar gun on that throw from short, where would you put it?
I don't know. That's pretty firm coming across the infield there. And Tulowitzki loves to showcase that strong throwing arm. Mentioned earlier in the game, he makes a lot of off-balance throws because he doesn't really like to set his feet when he's on the move. But on those rare occasions when he has one hit right at him and has a chance to wind it up, he really lets it go. Todd Helton's had to have that first baseman's glove relaced a couple times when the throw goes right through the webbing from shortstop.
Fastball away to Kosuke. 2 for 4 with a double and a run. Average at a healthy 318. Mets snapped a losing streak that had reached 5. 3-2 they beat the Braves in Atlanta. The Mets were at first in the East on May 1st. They have dropped all the way to last over the last 2.5 weeks. 1-2. They've been an extremely streaky club. Mike Pelfrey beat Derek Lowe. Check down at third. No swing, says Darryl Cousins. 12-2 the Phillies over the Pirates. Ryan Howard hit a home run, knocked in 6 for the Phils. Jason Worth had 4 RBIs. He also homered. Howard hit a grand slam in that game. Right down the middle, strike 3. We'll go to the 11th. 2-2. All season long. Feed your wild side.
Our wild side is well fed.
Terrio remains in at second. And Soto will catch.
Our mild side is well fed for that matter.
Here's Todd Helton. Look out. Curve didn't curve.
Tried to overthrow that breaking ball just a little bit. Got out of his hand too early. Sailed right over the helmet of Todd Helton. That could serve a useful purpose through the remainder of this at bat, though.
Helton's fortunate he pulled his bat down. Could have been a foul ball. 1-1 after the called strike. Lofted out into shallow left center. Castro got a great jump on it. Made it look easy. Olivo with a bases loaded walk to force in the tying run in the 8th. We don't like to see too many walks for Olivo because then he knows he has to hit a couple home runs to remain in that strange rare category or get close to it. More homers than walks with more than 100 homers. Never been done. Terrio will throw him out. 2 down.
Well, avoiding walks will be the easy part for Miguel Olivo. Hitting the home runs may be the hard part.
Esmail Rogers just got up in the Rockies' pen. And with 2 outs, if this inning ends pretty quickly, you'd have to think Belial is going to start his 3rd inning. Rogers just starting to play catch. Now the Rockies' plan is to use left-hander Greg Smith in Houston on Wednesday, but that's if something weird doesn't happen before then. Well, he might be pressed into service. He is listed in their bullpen, but they would like to save him for Wednesday. And the reason they need a spot starter is because of all those rainouts and the doubleheader they played on Saturday. Got him. Called strike 3. 4 strikeouts for Marshall over his 2 innings. An 8-pitch 11. Bottom of the 11. Castro will lead it off. Still in. 20-year-old Starlin Castro trying to start a game-winning rally. Expecting the wind to blow in again tomorrow night to wrap up the homestand. You'll catch it right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Bob and I will hit the air at 7 o'clock. This series will either be a sweep or a split. The only 2 possibilities, barring a rainout. The 1-0 catches the outside corner. We do not want to speculate, but we have not seen Carlos Zambrano available all night. We caught him in the dugout in the 8th inning, and makes you wonder if there's some sort of day-to-day malady or injury that makes him unavailable. No question Lou will be asked about that regardless of the game result. If he had been available tonight, there's no question we would at least see him sitting in the bullpen. Forget pitching. If you're in the pen, you normally are in the pen.
Well, and it makes you wonder a step further if maybe there's an issue with somebody in the starting rotation in the near future, and they want to save Zambrano in case they need to plug him into the rotation, but we're not sure.
Smiling Caridad is loosening in the bullpen. A 2-2 to Castro is outside. 3-2. Lee on deck. Well, Lyle has not had to pitch with a runner on base to this point. And he will now as Castro lines it over Clint Barmas. His 3rd hit of the game.
Good battling at bat for the youngster. Works the full count. Bilal's a guy that likes to use his fastball. He's got a good one in the low to mid 90s, but Castro all over that one. Line drive toward right center field. This is a dilemma here. Any manager faces a situation like this. You're not going to see Derek Lee put down a sac bunt. I'd be shocked if Derek Lee turned around and tried to put down a bunt right here. We've talked about how hard it is to run on Miguel Olivo behind the plate. But you'd love to get that runner into scoring position somehow.
Well, maybe a redeemer here for Derek. 2 strikeouts, 2 double plays, so 4 at bats. He's basically been responsible for 6 outs. But none of that matters now. The pitch fouled off, 1-1. Modest hitting streak on the line. It's 6 games.
Well, you see how deep the Rockies outfielders are playing right here. With Starlin Castro's speed, he could conceivably score on a double. So the Rockies are putting themselves at a depth where they feel like they can cut off anything hit in the gaps or down the line and prevent Castro from scoring should Derek Lee get that ball into the outfield. Now the flip side of the coin is if Derek Lee would happen to dribble a grounder through the infield, Castro could go first to third because they are playing so deep.
Liner's caught. Castro dives back in plenty of time. The Tulowitzki robs D. Lee. They're starting to square up Matt Belisle. Ramos has had his average go up 2 points with his 1 for 4 so far.
This has historically been a pretty good matchup for Aramis. 4 for 10 lifetime against Matt Belisle with a couple of home runs and a double. Much of a lead that time by Castro over there at first base. Back in that 8th inning when he stole and advanced on to third base on the throwing error by Miguel Olivo, he was really working hard to get a maximum lead off the base over there at first. See if he tries to stretch it out a little bit this time.
Aramis sends it deep into the night. Cubs win! A 2-run blast. His teammates gather at home plate. The final tonight, the Cubs win it 4-2. Sometimes, partner, you just need a home run.
That works for me. We've talked all night about the conditions here at Wrigley and how it was going to be one of those nights you really had to scratch and scrape and find ways to score a run. Well, that's a pretty easy way to score some runs right there. Ramos just shot a wind beater to deep left field to win the ball game.
His first homer in over a month since April 15th. So the Cubs win it 4-2. They've won 2 straight and a chance for a 4-4 homestand. We're waiting for Ramos to get ready. He is now standing by with Luke Stuckmeyer.
All right, thanks, Len. Ramos, first of all, just walk us through that at bat. You've kind of had his number throughout your career. What did he throw you?
He threw me a fastball, and I was ready for it.
Tell me about the last couple of days. You had 2 hits on Friday, an RBI on Saturday, a couple of hits today. you feel like maybe this is starting to come around for you?
I feel good. You know, I hit the ball hard. Even though I only got 2 hits, I hit the ball hard 3 or 4 times today. You know, hopefully I keep doing it.
What have you felt different about your swings at the plate? It looks like your timing's back and you're getting more comfortable.
I'm more relaxed. You know, I went back to the basics, just hit the ball. Don't try to hit 2 home runs in one at bat. You know, it's been a struggle, but hopefully I keep doing it.
Been kind of a tough homestand, but it's nice to hear these fans sing after a home run like that, isn't it?
Well, you know, we won yesterday, we win today. We're in a good run right now. We got good starting pitching. Hopefully we're starting off front to support them.
All right, congratulations. We'll get you out of the rain. It's starting to rain out here. Big home run for Aramis Ramirez, and the Cubs win again. Guys, back up to you.
Luke, thanks. Sean Marshall now with a win in back-to-back games. So give him a lot of credit. Carlos Marmol, Bob, came up big when needed. And they're all big at this point, but nice to start the stretch against winning teams from last year with a win.
Yeah, no question about it. And don't forget the outstanding start by Randy Wells tonight. Kind of went unnoticed as we got into extra innings, but Randy Wells, 6 2/3, only 1 run tonight.
So that'll wrap up our game coverage, I guess, just in time as the rain is starting to fall here at Wrigley. Stay tuned. Sylvania postgame live is coming up. The final score in 11. The Cubs 4, the Rockies 2. We're right back at you tomorrow night at 7 for the finale of this homestand.